Welcome to another conversation in People in Fundraising. This podcast features interviews with nonprofit professionals who discuss their career journeys, lessons learned, and enthusiasm for working in fundraising. And here is your host, the founder of People in Fundraising, Tim Wilson.
Good afternoon, everyone. Today is February 27th, 2026, and welcome to another interview in the People in Fundraising weekly nonprofit podcast. Today is a great day for me to get introduced to Steve Mutombo, who, like me, currently works and lives in Utah. And I'm very excited, Steve, to hear about your NGO experience and the work you do, specifically in the Democratic Republic of Congo. And just would like to give you as much time as you would like for our conversation today. So if you can please introduce yourself, Steve, by who you are, what you do, your connection to the DR Congo, and we'll go from there.
Well, happy to be with you, Tim, today, and thank you for being patient. I know we've wanted to have this for a while, and I'm happy that we are making it happen today.
Absolutely.
Yeah, as you mentioned, I'm Steve Mutombo. I'm from the DRC, the Democratic Republic of the Congo, and I currently live in Utah. We got here in 2021 for grad school. I attended BYU, the best university in the world. And but before I come here, I created a nonprofit together with so many other people called the Lord's Hands, and we discovered a digital gap between in so many students in Africa, starting with my own country, the DRC, who were willing to attend BYU Pathway Worldwide, which is an inspired and global education model supported by the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. So many people willing to attend the program, but the gap was so big, so many people couldn't afford a laptop to access school materials. And my wife and I decided to, get it started. So we made a couple of connections, and here we are. We have given out about 5,000 plus laptops to students, not only in the DRC, my own country, but this program has expanded. And we have done this in more than 28 countries in Africa. So I'm happy to talk about it today with you.
Yeah, that is amazing. So over 5,000 laptops donated so far, and not just and the Democratic Republic of the Congo, for people that aren't a geography or geopolitical aficionado like I am. It's one of the largest countries geographically and by population, not just in the continent of Africa, but in the world.
It's one of the biggest. Yep.
Yeah. And so to hear that your operation is not just focused on the DRC, but throughout Africa, 28 countries in total, that's amazing.
Mhm.
Wow. Okay. And I'm curious, the name of your nonprofit, the Lord's Hands. Did you come up with that yourself, you and your wife, or how did that name come up?
Yeah, as you know, for any organization that is kind of structured, the branding and the naming are always something strategic, right? And we are in the educational space right now, and it has always been a matter of discussion between, in our board, should we, make it to be more educational, or should we make the name to be more? But there is something that's kind of, made us to keep this name. My team and myself have seen in so many aspects of our lives, the Lord's hands, acting in our lives. And often that's happened through the people around us.
Mm.
So we're like, okay, let's just be honest. I mean, we have seen the Lord's end in our lives, and let's be the Lord's end and try to assist those in need, and especially those wanting to educate themselves, but who like, digital tools to access school material and thrive and improve their communities, improve their lives, improve their family situation and stuff like that. So we're like, okay, we'll keep it for now. We think it aligns pretty well with our strategy and our own stories and experiences. And so we will stick to that for now. Yeah.
Wonderful. I love that. If you can talk, just how the operations have expanded. So I'm hearing that it started with the DRC and then it expanded to other countries. Is that in response to the volume of need from students from other countries matriculating to Pathway?
I think the need is kind of universal, right? DRC was to me, it's a place that I know well. As we got started, I think 4 years ago, the very few students to whom we awarded laptops were people that I knew. I was serving as a bishop for my congregation in Lubumbashi, and so I knew, who I needed a laptop by then, but then we realized that the need was so, I would say universal, right? Not only in my ward, but in my stake, not only in my stake, but in other countries around us, in all over the continent of Africa. And students are today in Latin America, in the Philippines. So the need is so huge. People are willing to educate themselves. And something that's different with BYU Pathway Worldwide is that it bridges the education gap, right? So many people would love to sacrifice and to pay the price it takes to be here in Utah, attending BYU or the University of Utah or Harvard or UC Berkeley. I don't know, but not everyone can do that.
Sure.
Why? Because we always say talents and intelligence are evenly distributed, but not opportunities. So
Yes.
not everyone can do it, but BYU Pathway Worldwide is coming as a response, right, to address that. So it offers affordable, spiritually grounded, and fully online quality education. So everyone, can decide to attend it and enjoy the blessing of quality education. So
Uh,
everyone can access it, but it's digital, right? You need to have the tools to address that. So
yes.
the need is everywhere, and we try to come in and try to bridge the technology gap, right? Providing the student with the tools they need to be successful in the program. So that's what we do.
It's a remarkable program, BYU Pathway Worldwide, and to have your work with the digital access through the laptops to afford that opportunity, as you mentioned, is really amazing.
Mhm.
That's great. Do you have a website, Steve, that we can direct people to learn more about the Lord's hands, please?
Yeah, it's a www.thelordshands.org. Pretty
Wonderful.
easy, yeah.
Wonderful. That's great. I'm curious, Steve, how as someone, really involved with founding, launching the Lord's Hands, how have you been able to scale your offerings to meet the demand as a relatively young nonprofit entity? But the demand, I imagine, is always going to be greater. So talk.
The demand is so I mean huge that we cannot meet it for now, but I'm happy that we are now part of an ecosystem of organizations trying to address this. I mean, we do
Okay.
it in a part of the world. There is a sister organization called Helpstat Education Foundation. That's we are, we all part of this ecosystem trying to address this. So
Okay.
as I mentioned, there will always be a gap between the demands and our capacity to meet the demands. We striving and doing our best together as organizations, and here we are. I mean, wanting to invite people who are passionate about lifting lives and helping people to get the quality education they deserve and they are willing to pay the price for, calling them to come and join us and expands our operation. So we're scaling, but not at the point to meet all the demand because it keeps growing, growing, growing. Yeah.
Sure. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, that is the founder's dilemma.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm curious, Steve, what inspires you? Because it's certainly, you can look at the logistical need and partnering with other NGOs and BYU Pathway worldwide. But when you're able to step back and reflect and maybe hear student stories, what inspires you about what these students are trying to do with their education, the access to education, and what they hope their life will turn out and that through that?
Yeah, Tim, something that's passionate me or motivate me every single day is the fact that this is not something that I see from afar. This is actually my own story. Back from my mission in 2011, I decided to go back to school and study computer science.
Mm,
And I thought I was, mature enough to, find my own ways to afford a laptop. But it was really hard. I couldn't afford a $500 laptops by then. I went to a bishop and, explained my situation. And he was like, yeah, I think I can get you something. My boy has a little, a computer I bought a couple of weeks ago. I haven't seen him using it. So if I can pass it to you and if you think it can help you, that would be great. I was like, yeah, I would like to look at it. So yeah, I got this little Dell, 2 GB of RAM, pretty small. And so I was able to do my first semester in school with that little computer. So when I was involved, it was out of curiosity that I wanted to explore BYU pathway when it was approved for my country. And I was shocked that there were so many students who were committed, engaged, smart, uh, but most of them didn't own a laptop. And I was like, wow, this is interesting. I think we need to jump in and see what we can do for these folks. This is actually my own story. So as I mentioned before, we decided with my wife, then on we joined, friends and people who kind of share the same vision as us to get this started. And that's where we are. So most of these students work full time. They have families they taking care of, and some of them work 2, 3, or 4 jobs, right, to be able to kind of survive and enjoy life. But some of them live in very difficult situations, not only in Africa, but in Latin America, in the Philippines, and but seeing their resilience inspires me significantly.
yes.
So one of the items that we have them to uh, come up as part of the application process is the transcript, unofficial transcript. So
Oh, okay.
you'll be sitting and looking at hundreds of transcripts. You'll be amazed at how hard workers these students are. And
Yes.
that motivates me and inspires me a lot. So the resilience, I would say, is something that will keep me doing this,
Sure.
forever, I wish.
Thank you for sharing that, Steve. That is a remarkable and inspiring personal story. And I can see definitely how your story has influenced the work you're doing. How do you envision the Lord's hands growing, partnering, adapting in the years to come?
Yeah, it's been amazing to see how connected we are becoming as organizations trying to solve these issues. So we have BYU Pathway Worldwide, which is a church sponsored program
Yes.
and a separate entity to us. We are the Lord's End, and there are so many other organizations, and together we form an ecosystem
Hmm.
of individuals and organizations trying to address this education and technology gap, and there are also many other organizations trying to address the employment gap. Because, okay, it's
Sure.
good to educate these folks, but then what comes after
Yeah.
they're educated? So there are organizations here in Utah and, everywhere in the world now trying to, come up and connecting with either BYU Pathway or, other organizations to help students get remote jobs so they can literally work from the Philippines and for a
Yes.
company in the United States, which is great, or in Europe. So students are now able to get skills they need and thrive wherever they are. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So partnering with other organizations and trying to uh, consider depth impacts over spreading in a non-controlled way. I think that's kind of where we're trying to go. Moving from how many laptops we have given out to how have we improved retention, for example. How
Oh,
have we impacted employment? And now have we improved lives of these students? So we kind of pivoting to that and partnering with other organizations has been really helpful as we try to address this. And something that I wanted to mention is that we do this based on data that we have collected from students themselves. So
oh,
trying to be in compliance with, FERPA policies and so many other, policies around this field. Yeah.
yes. That is amazing. What a story. What a mission.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is there anything else, Steve, you'd like to share about your career, your studies, the Lord's hands specifically?
Yeah, I mean, I am passionate about, seeing people moving from point A to point B and keep, going through the ladder because that's my story throughout my life. I have been supported and lifted by so many people, and I feel I have to do that because it's what I consider now to be my life's calling, right? Whenever I see someone improving, someone thriving, the joy that I'm feeling, I'm like, I can't keep this for myself. We need to expand this and
Yes.
try to reach out to as many people as we can. So yeah, as I mentioned, I grew up in the DR Congo, did my studies there, and then started my career with the church. I worked for the church of
Okay.
Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints for around 7 years, and then I decided to further my education. So I got here, I attended BYU, the best university in the world, right? So I grew up believing BYU was the best, school in the world. But now that I've matured a little bit, I think I have no doubt that it is the best school in the world. So, yeah, my goal will always be to see, the people who are in the condition I used to be years ago to maybe be where I am or even do more than what I'm able to do because I believe they've been given everything they can to succeed, but all we need is to open doors to them
Yes.
for them to thrive and succeed. So, yeah, I
Yeah.
got a beautiful family, beautiful wife, and 4 kids for now and
Wonderful.
we're so happy. I studied public administration at BYU.
Mm.
I was a master's degree at BYU, and I learned nonprofits, management and everything. I'm specializing in finance, and
Okay.
for my full-time job, I work for Mercer, a wonderful consulting company in
Oh,
Salt Lake City, and I'm a financial consultant on the
wonderful.
Medicaid program. Yeah.
Wow. Wonderful. You have a lot on your hands.
Yep.
Well, as you were talking, Steve, about helping to lift people up from the condition that they're currently in, and you have been in similar circumstances earlier in your life, it reminded me of a quote from um, the late President Russell M. Nelson. And in the faith that Steve and I both believe in and share, and in the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, a couple of years ago, President Nelson toured California after the worst residential wildfire in California history.
Remember that.
And a few days, weeks later, he published an article in um, a newspaper in Arizona. And he kind of shared some of his spiritual beliefs. And it really has stuck with me. And I just want to share a snippet of it because I really feel it ties into what you were just talking about. And President Nelson said, quote, "If there's anything I've learned in my 94 years of living, it is that a life with God is far better, more filled with hope than one without him." And then he later goes on to say, we can rise from the ashes of our lives and become the men and women we were sent to earth to become. End quote. And I think, yes, we individually can try to rise from the ashes of our lives, but very often, just like the work you're doing, we need other people to help us rise from our ashes. And so with the work of the Lord's hands to lift people up, to give them access to the opportunities for education, to benefit their career, their life, their families' lives, it's remarkable. And I really think what President Nelson shared is a strong influence in what you're doing. So
I love that quote, and thank you for mentioning that, Sim. And yeah, that's where we're here, and we're committed to do everything in our power to empower as many as we can. And that's our invitation to everyone, within the reach of this podcast. If this
yeah,
is something that resonates with you, and yeah, try to find an organization which is part of this ecosystem trying to address both the education and technology gap, and see how you can join us and empower lives. There are so many people willing to further the education, to improve their conditions, but who simply cannot do it because of the lack of the adequate tools. And
yeah,
we're here to trying to address that. And
yes,
every time that the student receive a laptop from us, we're like, we see you, we know where you are, we can see where you can be, and here's the tool. Just go and thrive. And so happy that so many of the students we have assisted, so many are using it as a library. That's what I often tell them. This is not simply a laptop. It's not only a device. It's your library. It's actually your university, your campus, right?
yeah,
And now, with the support of so many other organizations, it is your office, right? You get to do your job, get paid pretty well, a decent salary using that laptop. So treat it as if it was something given to you by God, who knows your potential, right? And use
yes.
it and take advantage of it and go thrive. Yeah.
That's beautifully said. Thank you, Steve.
Thank you, Tim.
I really have enjoyed learning about you and the Lord's Hands nonprofit and its operations today. Thank you for your time, Steve.
Well, I'll say thank you, team, for having me. I know finally we were able to make it today. So happy, and thank you for being patient with me.
Oh, my pleasure. It was well worth it.
I've loved it. Thank you so much, and good luck in all you do. Keep
Thank
up the
you.
good work you do.
You as well. And for
Yeah.
our audience, you'll be able to find Steve Mutombo's conversation on LinkedIn with the link to the YouTube audio video component, on Podbean for people that like to listen to podcasts. And thanks to my 100th guest, Luis Diaz of WISE, WIZE, and the Donor Participation Project for his sponsorship. Steve's conversation will be on my website, peopleinfundraising.wordifysites.com. Thank you again, Steve, and I wish you all the best, and I will donate. That is my commitment to you right now.
Thank you, team. Appreciate it. Thank you. Bye bye.